South Africa has been plunged into an unprecedented storm of political turmoil as Parliament erupted into chaos today when MPs and angry citizens throughout the nation joined in a thunderous demand for the immediate arrest of President Cyril Ramaphosa. What was initially a routine sitting to discuss economic policies quickly turned into one of the most explosive parliamentary confrontations in democratic history, triggering countrywide protests and fueling concerns of an impending constitutional crisis. From the outset, the tension was palpable as opposition benches entered armed with files, documents, and evidence they claimed proved Ramaphosa's direct involvement in illegal financial dealing, corruption networks, and abuse of presidential power. Julius Malema of the EFF wasted no time getting to his feet and thundering across the chamber, "Mr. President, you sit there pretending to lead while your hands are dripping with the theft of this nation. You have stolen. You have lied and you have betrayed the people. You must be arrested today, not tomorrow." The chamber erupted as ANC MPs leapt to their president's defense, but their voices were drowned out by opposition members pounding on their desks and chanting, "Arrest him! Arrest him!" The speaker tried desperately to restore order, repeatedly threatening suspensions, but the fury was uncontrollable. One moment members of the EFF surged toward the president's bench, forcing security to intervene. Parliament was suspended 3 times as MPs traded insults, accusations, and even near physical blows, with shouts of "This parliament cannot continue under the shadow of a criminal president. The whole nation demands his arrest." If the scenes in Parliament appalled viewers, the anger outside was much stronger. Across Johannesburg, Durban, Pretoria, and Cape Town, thousands of South Africans poured into the streets waving banners reading, "Ramaphosa must go, Justice for South Africa," and "No one is above the law." In Soto, demonstrators marched in unison chanting, "Arrest Ramaphosa! Arrest him now," while taxis blocked major highways in Gauteng in a show of defiance. Outside Parliament, protesters clashed with police as barricades were erected to prevent them from storming the chambers. Social media erupted with rage, and in minutes, #ArrestRamaphosa, #Ramaphosa, and #SouthAfricanites were trending worldwide as millions called for accountability. The chaos had been fueled by a series of damning revelations allegedly tying President Ramaphosa to secret offshore bank accounts linked to questionable international business deals, misuse of state funds for private benefit including lavish property acquisitions, and cover-ups within the Failure Farm scandal, which investigators now say involved a far larger sum of undeclared foreign cash than previously admitted, and testimonies from ANC insiders alleging that Ramaphosa knowingly protected allies accused of corruption to secure his own political survival. Leaked by insiders and backed by testimony reportedly due to be tabled in Parliament, these allegations have set off a political firestorm. Opposition leaders are claiming the evidence is enough not only to remove Ramaphosa from office but to see him prosecuted and jailed. Even more shocking was the growing revolt inside the ANC itself, as senior figures who once supported Ramaphosa were now said to be quietly distancing themselves. Reports suggested that factions within the ruling party were holding late-night meetings, weighing whether to cut ties with their leader to preserve their own survival. The president is isolated. The calls for his arrest are not just from the opposition. It's coming from our own people. The streets have spoken. He cannot survive this. Ordinary South Africans, weary of years of broken promises, corruption scandals, and economic decline, joined the chorus louder than ever, saying, "We are tired of leaders who enrich themselves while our children go hungry." If this was any other citizen, they would be behind bars already. Why not him? In Pretoria, university students gathered on campus waving South African flags upside down as a symbol of distress and chanting, "No justice, no peace. Arrest him now." Legal experts warned that South Africa might be entering uncharted waters, with Parliament considering a motion of no confidence or impeachment that could trigger the fastest collapse of a presidency since Jacob Zuma's downfall. But with citizens demanding immediate arrest, not political delay, pressure on the justice system mounted. Opposition parties submitted urgent calls for the National Prosecuting Authority to intervene and lay criminal charges. Civil society groups mobilize for mass nationwide protests over the weekend, with some warning of a potential general shutdown if Ramaphosa was not arrested. South Africa now stands at a dramatic turning point. 4 years, Sir Ramaphosa presented himself as the clean-up president who would restore the ANC's dignity after Zuma's corruption-tainted rule, but he now faces accusations of the very crimes he once vowed to eradicate. The calls for his arrest are no longer whispers, instead, they form the deafening roar of an incensed nation. Parliament is in chaos, the streets are alight in protest, and the people have united around one demand: Ramaphosa must face justice. Whether he resigns, is forced out, or is dragged into court, one thing is certain: South Africa will never be the same after this day.